If you've ever wondered why some women never have to chase a man, why he can't stop texting them, thinking about them and wanting to see them again, it's because they know how to say the right thing at the right time. And sometimes it only takes 5 simple words to flip the switch in his mind and make him chase you non-stop. Today, I'm going to show you how those 5 words work and why they can completely change the way he sees you. When it comes to attraction, one of the most powerful forces at play is curiosity. We're wired to chase what we don't fully understand, to lean in when something feels slightly out of reach, and to want more of whatever sparks questions in our mind. That is exactly why intrigue is so much more magnetic than explanation. When you give someone everything up front, there's no reason for them to invest energy in pursuit. But when you offer a glimpse, a taste, a puzzle that needs solving, you create tension, and that tension is what drives people forward. In the case of texting a man, those 5 words are not about telling him everything you feel or everything you want. They are about creating a gap between what he knows and what he wants to know. That gap is what keeps his attention locked on you. Think about how a great story works. A book or a movie doesn't reveal the ending in the first 5 minutes. It builds anticipation, dropping hints, giving just enough detail to keep you hooked. Attraction works the same way. If you text him with a message that explains it all, you've already handed him the ending of the story. He knows exactly where he stands, and the mystery evaporates. But if you text him something short, playful, and intriguing, he has to step into the story with you. He has to chase to find out what happens next. That chase is not about games or manipulation. It's about creating an experience where he feels drawn in, excited, and eager to know more. The truth is, people value what they work for. When something comes too easily, it loses its spark quickly. That doesn't mean you should be distant or cold, but it does mean you should understand the psychology of desire. Intrigue creates a space where he feels motivated to invest. A text that leaves a question hanging in his mind will replay over and over until he gets an answer. It's like planting a seed of curiosity that grows until he can't resist reaching out. And when he does, the energy of pursuit is born. He's not chasing because you begged for his attention. He's chasing because his mind won't let him do otherwise. Many women make the mistake of over-explaining through text. They try to prove their worth, justify their feelings, or make everything crystal clear. But clarity is not what makes a man chase. Curiosity is. When you hold back just a little, when you give him a reason to wonder, you keep him invested. You show him that there's more to discover about you, and that discovery is what makes the dynamic come alive. Those 5 words should never feel like the final chapter. They should feel like the opening line of a story that he desperately wants to finish reading. You might notice this in your own life. When someone texts you something vague but interesting, you can't help but respond. It creates a tension in your mind because you want to close the loop. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains are wired to remember and focus more on incomplete things than on things that are finished. If you apply that principle to attraction, you realize why intrigue is so powerful. By giving him a text that feels incomplete, you ensure that you stay at the front of his mind. He won't be able to let it go until he gets more from you, and that is exactly the energy of pursuit. What makes this even more powerful is that intrigue carries an undertone of confidence. When you don't feel the need to explain everything, you send the message that you are secure enough in yourself to let him lean in. You don't need to chase, persuade, or convince because you know your value. That confidence wrapped in intrigue is irresistible. It flips the script completely because instead of him feeling like he has all the power, he realizes he has to step up if he wants to be part of your world. Intrigue is not about manipulation, it's about creating space for desire to breathe. It's the difference between a sparkler that burns out in seconds and a slow-burning flame that keeps glowing brighter with time. When you use those 5 words wisely, you're not just sending a text, you're igniting a process where he chooses to pursue, because every part of him wants to uncover more of what you're not saying, and that's the kind of energy that turns a simple message into an irresistible invitation to chase. Playful energy is one of the most attractive qualities you can bring into any interaction, especially when it comes to texting. When someone feels that your words carry lightness, joy, and fun, it immediately changes the way they respond to you. Texting can often become dry, transactional, or even heavy, especially when people try too hard to make their intentions clear. But when your energy is playful, the entire dynamic shifts. It makes the other person feel good simply by engaging with you, and when you make someone feel good, they naturally want more of you. That's the essence of magnetism, being the source of positive emotions that draw people in. Imagine 2 scenarios. In the first, you send a text that's overly serious, explaining what you're thinking in detail or asking questions that feel like an interrogation. He might respond politely, but there's no spark. In the second scenario, you send a message that's light, teasing, or even slightly mischievous. He reads it and smiles, maybe even laughs out loud, and instantly feels the urge to respond. That is the difference playful energy makes. It creates a sense of fun, of unpredictability, of a shared inside joke that keeps the connection alive. He isn't just responding to your words, he's responding to the way you make him feel in the moment. Playful energy also removes pressure from the interaction. Too many people send texts with the hidden weight of expectation behind them. They want to reply right away, they want validation, or they want to move the connection forward too quickly. That pressure leaks through the words, even if it's not intentional. But when your energy is playful, there's no pressure at all. You're not demanding a response, you're inviting one. And because invitations feel better than obligations, he responds not because he has to, but because he genuinely wants to. This keeps the interaction light and enjoyable, making him chase more naturally. The beauty of playful energy is that it taps into something deeper, the human need for novelty. We crave experiences that are fresh and exciting because they break the monotony of our daily lives. When you send a playful text, you become that fresh energy in his world. You're not just another notification on his phone, you're the one that stands out, the one that makes him pause whatever else he's doing just to see what you've said. That novelty creates excitement, and excitement is addictive. Once he associates you with that feeling, he'll keep coming back for more. Playfulness also communicates confidence. It shows that you're not overthinking every word or worried about how he will interpret it. Instead, you're comfortable enough to have fun, to tease, to flirt lightly without fear. That confidence is magnetic in itself because it signals that you don't need his approval to feel good about yourself. You're already in a joyful state, and he simply gets to share in it. People are always drawn to those who seem happy and confident on their own because it makes them feel safe and uplifted in their presence. Another reason playful energy works so well is that it creates a sense of connection. When you share a playful moment with someone, it feels intimate in a way that serious conversation doesn't. It's like having a secret code or a private joke that only the two of you understand. That bond makes him feel closer to you, and closeness fuels the desire to pursue. He doesn't just want to talk to you, he wants to be around you, to feel that same joy in person. That's when texting transforms from simple communication into a powerful tool of attraction. It's also worth noting that playfulness doesn't mean being immature or frivolous. It means approaching the interaction with lightheartedness, curiosity, and humor. You can still be deep, thoughtful, and serious when it matters. But layering in moments of play keeps the energy balanced. Without playfulness, conversations can feel heavy and draining. With too much playfulness, they can feel shallow. But when you strike the right balance, you create a rhythm that feels alive, unpredictable, and exciting. That rhythm is what keeps him on his toes, never quite sure what you'll say next. And that unpredictability keeps him chasing. At its core, playful energy is about emotional generosity. It's about offering a little spark of happiness, a little burst of laughter, or a little wave of excitement that brightens someone's day. When you give that gift through your words, he naturally wants to reciprocate. He wants to keep the interaction going, to keep the energy flowing, and to keep you close. And that is exactly how playful energy becomes the magnet that draws him to chase you non-stop. Scarcity is one of the most powerful psychological forces in human behavior, and when it comes to attraction, it plays an even bigger role than most people realize. The moment something feels rare, it feels valuable. The moment something feels abundant or too easily available, it starts to lose its shine. This isn't about playing manipulative games, it's about understanding how the human mind is wired. When you make yourself too accessible, too quick to reply, too eager to be available at all hours, the dynamic shifts. He no longer feels the need to chase, because in his mind, he already has you. But when you bring in a sense of scarcity, when you show through your actions and your energy that your time and attention are not unlimited, suddenly he feels the urgency to pursue. Scarcity increases value because it sends a silent but powerful message. If he doesn't step up, he risks losing something rare. Think about it in terms of anything people desire. When a luxury brand releases a limited edition item, the demand skyrockets. People line up, not always because they need it, but because they know it won't always be there. That limited nature makes it more enticing. On the other hand, when something is always available, no one feels pressure to grab it now because they believe they can always have it later. The same principle applies to relationships and attraction. If he knows you're always on standby, always waiting, always there whenever he decides to show up, he feels no urgency. But if he senses that your attention is precious and not easily given, he begins to value it more. That scarcity pulls him into the chase because he doesn't want to miss his chance. Scarcity doesn't mean ignoring someone or deliberately withholding affection. It's not about coldness or manipulation. It's about demonstrating that you have a full life, passions, and priorities beyond him. When he sees that you're not glued to your phone, that you're not waiting hours for his text, that you have things that matter to you outside of him, it creates an unspoken respect. He realizes that he needs to work to earn a place in your world. That realization ignites pursuit because men don't value what comes with no effort. They value what they have to show up for, what they have to win. Scarcity also builds anticipation. When you don't give him constant attention, the moments you do share feel more special. If you respond quickly to every message, the interaction starts to feel ordinary. But if your replies come when you're genuinely free, when you have something fun or interesting to share, it feels intentional. That intentionality makes your presence feel like a gift instead of a given. It's like a favorite song. If you heard it every hour of every day, it would lose its magic. But when it plays at just the right time, it lights you up. That's how scarcity works in attraction. It makes your presence something he looks forward to, rather than something he takes for granted. The psychology of scarcity also ties into desire. People are naturally more motivated by the fear of losing something than by the idea of gaining something. If he feels that he already has all of you, he relaxes. If he feels that he could lose you to your own standards, your busy life, or even other people who might value you, his instincts kick in. Suddenly, he feels the need to act, to secure his place, to chase harder. That fear of loss boss isn't about manipulation, it's about letting him understand that your life is valuable and you won't hand it over to someone who doesn't treat it that way. What's powerful about scarcity is how it elevates your worth in his eyes. By not being constantly available, you communicate that you see yourself as someone worth making time for. Your energy, your attention, your presence, these are precious things and you don't hand them out lightly. That energy of self-respect is magnetic because it signals to him that you are not desperate, not needy, and not waiting around. You are someone who knows her value, and that very awareness of your value makes him chase harder. Scarcity works because it rebalances the dynamic. It removes the assumption that he can always have you whenever he wants, and it places him in a position where he must decide to pursue or risk missing out. That urgency is what fuels the chase. When you embody this principle, you stop being just another option and start becoming the prize. And when he sees you as the prize, every instinct in him tells him to go after you non-stop. Challenge is one of the most underrated elements in building attraction, and yet it's the very thing that keeps desire alive. When everything is handed to someone easily, they stop valuing it. Human beings are wired to appreciate what they work for, and in relationships, this truth shows up clearly. If you give someone all your attention, all your approval, and all your affection without requiring anything in return, they don't have to rise to the occasion. They don't have to stretch themselves or put effort into keeping you. But when you present a challenge, when you set a standard that says, if you want me, you're going to have to bring your best self, you activate something inside of him that makes him lean forward, invest, and pursue. Challenge is not about playing hard to get or creating unnecessary distance. It's about inspiring him to step into a better version of himself because you refuse to accept less. When you communicate through your words and your actions that you are someone with high standards, you create a space where he has to meet those standards if he wants to be with you. That energy of requiring more doesn't push people away. It pulls the right people closer. The wrong ones, the ones who want things easy, might drift off. But the right one, the man who sees your worth, will feel compelled to rise up and prove himself. That's the power of challenge. It filters out the ones who don't value you and attracts the one who does. The beauty of challenge is that it activates effort. Relationships are strongest when both people put energy into them, but effort often disappears when things feel too easy. If he knows that no matter what he does, you'll always be there, the urgency fades. But if he knows that you expect thoughtfulness, consistency, and genuine investment, he will bring those qualities to the table. That's how challenge works. It calls him forward. It transforms the dynamic from passive to active, from comfortable to exciting. He doesn't just coast through interactions with you. He works to earn more of your attention and more of your time. That effort is what makes him value you, and that value is what makes him chase non-stop. Think of it this way: when someone plays a game that offers no difficulty, it becomes boring. But when the game presents a challenge, people stay engaged, determined to win. Attraction works the same way. If there's nothing to reach for, nothing to aspire to, the excitement fizzles out. But when you present a challenge, not by being cold, but by standing firm in your standards, you create an energy that keeps him engaged. He doesn't just want to be near you. He wants to win your trust, your affection, and your commitment. That sense of having to earn you makes the entire experience more meaningful to him. Challenge also communicates confidence. It shows that you're not desperate for his attention, that you're not willing to accept the bare minimum, and that you believe in your own worth enough to require effort. Confidence in itself is magnetic, but confidence paired with challenge is irresistible. It tells him that you don't just want someone in your life, you want the right someone, someone who's willing to step up. And when he sees that you hold yourself to a high standard, he feels inspired to meet it because he doesn't want to lose his chance. The psychology behind challenge is deeply rooted in desire. People naturally want what feels slightly out of reach. When something is just beyond their grasp, it becomes more enticing. Challenge creates that dynamic in relationships. You're not denying him affection, but you're also not handing it over without effort. You're placing it just far enough ahead that he has to stretch, to try, to show up. That act of reaching is what makes him appreciate you more, because he knows he worked for it. And when someone works for something, they don't let it go easily. Challenge also prevents complacency. In many relationships, once the initial excitement fades, people settle into routines. Things become predictable, and the spark begins to dim. But when you embody the energy of challenge, you keep the relationship alive. You don't allow things to become stagnant because you continuously call him to bring his best. That doesn't mean creating conflict or being difficult. It means refusing to let mediocrity take root. It means reminding him, through your presence and your standards, that he has something extraordinary in you, and extraordinary things are worth effort. Ultimately, challenge is about respect. By challenging him, you're telling him that his role in your life is important enough to require his best. You're showing him that you value yourself too much to settle for anything less, and that if he wants to be with you, he has to earn it every day. That respect for yourself inspires respect from him, and respect paired with desire is what fuels lasting attraction. When you embody challenge, you don't just make him chase, you make him chase with purpose, with energy, and with passion. That's how challenge transforms a simple interaction into a powerful force of pursuit. Confidence is magnetic, and when it radiates through your words and actions, it has the power to completely shift the dynamic between you and a man. The reason confidence is so irresistible is because it communicates security. It sends the message that you are not seeking validation, not waiting around for approval, and not dependent on his attention to feel valuable. Instead, you already know your worth, and that energy pulls him towards you in a way that neediness never can. The 5 words you send should carry this undertone of self-assuredness. They should feel like they're coming from a woman who knows exactly who she is and who is not afraid of what happens if he doesn't chase. That detachment, that sense of being whole without him, is what paradoxically makes him want you even more. Confidence is not about arrogance or being overly bold. It's about quiet certainty. It's the calm strength that comes through when you text something playful without overthinking how it will be received. It's in the way you're not afraid to be authentic, to show your sense of humor, to tease, or to be direct when you want to. Many people fall into the trap of trying to craft the perfect message, agonizing over every word to make sure it lands the right way. But that nervous energy is felt on the other side, and it makes the message lose its impact. Confidence means trusting yourself enough to know that whatever you say will be enough. That ease and comfort within yourself is what creates the irresistible pull. When a man senses confidence in your energy, it changes the way he views you. Instead of seeing you as someone who needs his validation, he sees you as someone who already has value, and that flips the power dynamic. You become the prize, the person worth chasing, because he realizes that he can't take you for granted. He knows that if he doesn't step up, someone else will notice what you bring to the table. That awareness lights a fire under him and makes him put in effort, because confident energy doesn't wait around to be chosen. It chooses, and men instinctively want to be chosen by someone they perceive as high value. Confidence also sets boundaries without needing to spell them out. When you radiate certainty in yourself, you don't have to constantly explain what you will and won't accept. It's communicated naturally in your tone, in your patience, and even in your silences. If he sends a half-hearted text, you don't jump to respond immediately. If he gives you minimal effort, you don't overcompensate. That restraint is powerful because it tells him that you know you deserve more, and that belief in your own worth becomes contagious. It challenges him to rise, to bring more of himself, to prove he's worthy of your time. One of the most powerful aspects of confidence is how it affects emotional attraction. While looks and charm may draw someone in initially, confidence is what sustains their desire. A woman who is confident carries herself with an energy that says, "I don't need you, but I choose to let you in." That balance between independence and openness creates tension, and that tension fuels desire. It makes him want to prove himself, to win your continued attention, to earn a deeper place in your life. That's why confidence isn't just attractive in the short term. It creates long-term chase, because it ensures he never feels he can take you for granted. Confidence also liberates you from the fear of rejection. Instead of worrying about whether he'll respond or whether he'll like what you said, you trust that if he doesn't, it's his loss. That mindset takes away desperation, and desperation is the fastest way to kill attraction. When you're not afraid of losing someone, you interact differently. You show up relaxed, playful, authentic, and that authenticity is what makes you unforgettable. Men can sense when someone is clinging, and they can sense when someone is centered. They always chase the one who is centered because she feels like the kind of woman who elevates his world instead of needing to be completed by it. Finally, confidence is magnetic because it's rare. Many people second-guess themselves, doubt their worth, and settle for less than they deserve. When a man encounters a woman who doesn't operate from that place, she immediately stands out. Her words carry more weight, her presence feels more captivating, and her energy becomes addictive. The 5 words you text should feel like they come from that place of rare certainty. They should feel like they belong to someone who doesn't question her value for a second. That confidence will make him chase, not because you demanded it, but because he feels pulled toward you, unable to resist the energy of someone who knows exactly who she is. When you bring all of these pieces together, you start to see why certain women are chased effortlessly while others are overlooked. It isn't about beauty alone, and it isn't about clever lines or constant availability. It's about the energy you bring. Intrigue creates that first spark, leaving him curious and eager to lean in. Playful energy keeps the dynamic light, fun, and magnetic. Scarcity reminds him that your attention is a privilege, not a guarantee, and that makes him value it more. Challenge calls him forward, pushing him to rise to meet your standards, and that effort deepens his investment. And confidence is the thread that holds it all together, sending the powerful message that you already know your worth with or without him. When you text him those 5 words with this energy behind them, you're not just sending a message, you're communicating your value without ever having to spell it out. You're showing him that being in your world is exciting, it's rare, it's meaningful, and it's something worth chasing. The right man won't hesitate to step up because he'll feel that being with you is not only a gift, but also an opportunity to become better himself. And when he feels that, he won't stop chasing because he knows you're not someone to take for granted. You're someone to be pursued, cherished, and kept.